Alright guys, what's up? My name is Max Santia. I'm here with Go and Thrive. And I just want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day or night or whenever to come and watch the content I made for you guys. And today's video is not going to be based so much on entrepreneurship or business or sales or the school education. It's actually going to be talking about self-investments, and not financial investments, but I mean personal investments. I'm talking about choices you make every day that are going to delegate or determine how your life is going to play out in the future. And I know you've probably heard this before from other people, but the reality is that many people don't really take into consideration how important self-awareness is. And if you're not self-aware with who you are or what you truly want to do in life, then you're not going to live a happy life, and you're certainly not going to get to the point where you want to be, which is successful in life in whatever career or path you take. Basically, if you're not really self-aware with who you are or what you really like to do, and that all falls into the category of not experimenting enough or not actually trying enough things to actually figure out what you truly like to do or what truly makes you happy. If you really don't get to that point, or if you really don't achieve much, it's probably because you're not experimenting the amount of things that you should be. And this all falls into osmosis, which is trial and error. And many people don't really experiment a lot. And I'm not talking about like experimenting just for the fun of it. I'm really talking about trying new things and seeing what you really like to do. And for many of us, it could be pretty challenging and intimidating at times, and shyness can come into playing a huge factor. But what really throws people off is other people's opinions on what happens if I fail. What happens if this doesn't go the way it goes, and other people are going to criticize the way it turned out, and I'm just going to feel like a complete loser, and I'm not going to really try it again. You know, these are things that differentiate or set apart the people who are successful and the people who just gave up and quit and settled for less, right? And honestly, I don't really want any of that for any of you guys. And you know, I'm not trying to be the wise guy here or anything. I just really like take into importance the ways that we should all be taking care of ourselves, and mentally is one of the most important ways that we should be doing it, and that's undervalued to me. And honestly, like, if you guys really have a passion for something, and if you guys really see that you're really good at something and it makes you happy, and you never consider it work, or maybe sometimes you consider it work, but it really never feels like work, and it feels like something you really just like doing. Like, for example, if you're like into editing, or if you're into technology, you can go start a business and you'll never feel like it's work, because you like editing, you like creating new things, you like making people happy with the results you deliver. You see, that never feels like work to the successful people, right? Because the successful people never really take, like, obviously it's really hard work, but they enjoy what they do. You're never going to see somebody who's successful and happy doing something they don't like to do. It's because they know, they're self-aware with themselves, that if they're truly at the spot where they're at today, which is nice car, nice house, money in their pocket, they didn't get to that place just by trying one thing and saying, it's like saying, yo, I'm really good at editing, and I'm going to take it to, I'm going to do it for 10 years. Like, nobody ever really does that. For me, an example, I was into soccer, I was into editing as well. I was into many other things besides business, and I had to experiment with all those things, and I became self-aware, you know, with the statistics and of me actually accomplishing those things were just really low due to the fact of how important they were to me. And honestly, it was one of those things where I came to like a real conversation with myself, and I told myself, like, this is not what I really want to do. I'm into business. I like business. I like communicating with people and selling products and making somebody happy and sharing my ways with somebody. You know, that's just something that inspires me to become a better me. And that's something that you guys should always take into consideration, which is if you can find something that more or less makes you feel happy and at the same time always keeps you running and motivated and inspired to keep being a better you, that's something you should pursue and experiment with it. You know, just because something seems so great at first, and it seems great for the first maybe week or something, it's not always going to be like that. I can tell you that right now. It's not always going to be a sweet life where, oh yeah, this is great at the beginning, but later on it's going to feel like shit, like I don't really like doing this. Maybe I should be doing that. And that's where you have to take into consideration that you should always be experimenting as many new things as possible, and never take into consideration anybody's opinions or what they think of you, because that's what's going to steer you from becoming successful and just giving up. Valuing anybody's opinions, and because of those people who are completely irrelevant to who you really are, it's just something that, like, it makes me want to think, like, why is this person's opinion so important to you? Like, what do they have to say that really you care so much about that you're gonna go the other way because of what he said or what she said. It's so uncommon for that. Actually, like it's like weird in a way. You should never value anybody's opinion who's over here and let that affect how your future is gonna determine. Because I'm here to tell you that the only people who will ever hate on you or show any form of disrespect or tell you that you can't do it or you can never achieve your dreams, it's the people who are scared to actually go and do what you're thinking of doing. They're the people who are too scared and too like, oh, I'd be home and doing this all day rather than actually putting in the work. Those are the only people who will ever like criticize you. And even if it's not, anybody's opinion in general should never influence you into becoming a negative person, right? You always want to be the better you and be a positive person no matter what, or no matter what anybody ever tells you. You should be you and live your life, because what many people don't realize is that this is your life. Like, you can never take this back. And what a lot of people don't realize is that you feel good right now. You're young, right? You have so much time, and you feel like, oh, I'll just wait till I go to college and I'll get started, and hopefully once I have my 4 years of education down, I'll be able to pull $200K of debt out of somewhere and pay it back. Like, that's not how life works. You need to be self-aware with how you're actually going to come up with the money. Is this really what I want to do? Is this really worth going to 4 years of college to become this person in the future? I'm not here to tell you that college is the trash way to go. I'm here to tell you that if this is really what you want doing, if this is really what you like doing, and this is really what you're going to commit most of your life to, make sure that it's something that makes you happy. I'm not here to tell you that school is not the way to go or anything. I'm not that type of person. You know, I'll always be conservative, but for me in general, that wasn't the option. But either way, that's in another video. What you always got to take into consideration is that you have to make the proper life investments. And that's all comes down to the choices you make every day and how that's going to determine how your future plays out. If you start today, like, let's just say my life investment would be, like, this is just an example. An investment of mine would be probably buying this book, right? Gary Vee, Crushing It. Many people haven't read a book in, I don't know, years maybe. I don't know, like a full book. Probably never. Or maybe haven't finished one. Some people haven't even finished a book, to be honest. And I was one of those people, because I'm not going to get into it, but I was just one of those people who never liked reading, right? And I had to be real with myself. Like, is buying like a new phone really worth it? Like, is that going to really make me feel happier about myself? Or is buying this, which has better benefits to my life? Obviously, a phone has a better purpose. Like, if it does the same thing and you have a phone that you've had for a couple months or something and you feel like getting a new one because everybody has it and that's going to make you happy, go for it. I mean, it's obviously, it's like if you're like one of those materialistic people, but that drives you at the same time and motivates you, then go for it. But honestly, you shouldn't really value materialistic things as something that drives success or happiness in general. You should value your self-improvement and making like true improvements within yourself, mentally and physically and emotionally. Just being a happy person is really what drives happiness, not really buying a new iPhone, because the reality of it is that maybe that happiness could last you maybe a month, and then you're going to realize that what you had right now is the same thing you've been having for the last 2 years, maybe 2-3 years, and that it doesn't really make you happy as it did when you first bought it. Now, if you take this into consideration, whereas if I read this whole book and I took some guided knowledge, that knowledge is going to stay within you forever, and it's going to serve you so many future beneficial purposes where you could actually learn, and then go apply it into the real world. What happens from there is that you can make money off of it. Not only that, you can also be a smarter person, a better person, somebody who knows what they're doing, somebody who's not lost, right? Because I'm going to be honest with you, if you could read a whole book and actually take some value from it, it's going to add so much value to you as a person, and it could truly shift your whole life. For me, an example, I had to invest into a program, and I had the choice, right? I had the choice of buying a nice thing, like nice pair of cleats and everything, and nice apparel, because I had the money at the moment, right? I sold some things because I was always that hustler, I guess, buying things and reselling them, right? And I had to come up with a lot of money at the beginning, right? I made a bunch of money. I was like, shit, I've never had this much money. And I had to come to the realization, is this really worth it? Is buying like this amount of X cleats, like buying it, like, is it really going to make me happy? Obviously, it was something that was really tempting, but I was smart with myself, and I told myself that maybe I should invest into a program that could teach me maybe like social media marketing and that type of stuff, right? I invested into that program. And since that day, I've always, I've never regretted it, because that whole program basically like shifted my life, and it really like impacts you just knowing new things and experimenting. Like the investments that you make into yourself are really hard. I know it's tempting, because for a lot of you, we are materialistic, including myself. I like nice cars, I like nice cleats, I like nice shirts and everything, right? But the things that you struggle with right now, if you can overcome them right now, everything's going to be more smoother along the way. And if you execute on the hard decisions right now when you're young, it'll be much easier to execute on the hard decisions later on in your future. Always keep that in mind, never underestimate like time as well, because you guys are young. I understand you guys might feel like you have the world ahead of you, but by the time you're maybe like 70 or 80, you guys are going to have, hopefully you don't, but majority of you might have regrets. And that's something that's like the only fear you should have. To be honest, you should never fear anything else besides regret. Regret is what kills so many people, just living in regret. You never want to live in regret. And to be honest, it sounds like something, whatever right now, because you probably don't have much regret. Maybe you have regret as dating somebody you never wanted to date, or maybe you have regret on failing that test you should have studied for. And that's not real regret, because honestly, those things don't have too much value up front unless you're like truly dramatic about it and you're like whatever. But let's be real here, all right? Because honestly, our society is obviously obsessed with sugarcoating and fake news, and I hate living in a world like that. So I'm going to be the one who tells you that regret is something that's going to come along much in the future, and it's going to be more impactful, that could lead to several negative things in your life. And most of the people not that I know, but many people have committed suicide and have been in depression due to these regrets that they have. And it's real news that nobody likes talking about, right? But it's the truth, right? Right now, you need to deal with yourself and be self-aware with who you really are. And is that the person I want to be in my future? Is that the person I want to be later on? Is that the person I want to grow into? You don't want to regret that. Honestly, you want to experiment as much as you can right now, and experiment truly many different things that you're really good at or you really feel happy doing. Like, just like Gary Vaynerchuk says it, like, what will you be doing right now if it never was work? Or I think that's how he said it. Like, if you never considered it work, what would you be doing? Like, that's how you should think of life. And even if it's something mediocre or whatever you think, as long as it makes you happy. And I'm not saying go and be homeless or live a bummy life and just settle for less. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that find something that actually is productive, right? Something that makes money, right? Makes you happy at the same time. Because many people are going through a 9-to-5 every day and hating that job, right? I don't want any of you to be that way, If you guys are happy waking up at 8 in the morning, going to your doctor shit and whatnot, and being a doctor and helping out people, that's great. I really support that. Like, if that's really what makes you happy, and you enjoy helping out people and treating them and making them happy, and that's what makes you happy, I'm all for that. Because you're doing what you like doing, especially it makes you money, right? But I'm mad at you, or I'm not mad at you, but I'm telling you it's the wrong thing, that if a teacher or a parent, and it's mostly parents these days, that will tell you that you need to do this, you need to do that, or else you're not going to be successful. You need to do this, you need to do this. That word need. You need to do this in order to be successful. That's what really drives a lot of people into sadness, not being happy, not making enough money, living a sad life, being miserable, not being to their full potential, living in regret. That's what's exactly going to drive you to regret, not doing what you like doing. If you're doing what you love to do, waking up in the morning and you're happy, you're getting out of bed all excited, ready to take on another day of life, happy to be doing what you're doing, that's exactly the way to go. And I'm happy for you guys if you guys are willing to live your life like that. Like, it doesn't really take too much like effort out of it. Just find something that you can. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of time, like finding and experimenting what you try doing, but it's going to be worth it. You're going to regret not doing that, I promise you. Later on in your future, you're going to regret doing what you like doing right now because you think it's what you like doing, right? But it's not, because you might like doing art, but you're a lawyer right now and you like doing art. If that's how you're going to live life, you're going to live a terrible life. And it comes to those things where if you're really passionate about something, it comes to the point where your actions have to match that same ambition, because to be honest, too many people are way ahead of their actions. Like, their mouth is way ahead of their actions. They think that if they say, yo, I'm gonna, like, let's say if they're into art, like, I'm gonna be the next Picasso, and then you see them all week just sitting around and watching YouTube videos on how to do it, or doing this, and right? Like, that's not what's gonna drive you to being Picasso. Being a Picasso, right, will actually happen by you painting like him, learning his trades, learning how he did it, like how the tactic. I don't really know much about art, but truly experimenting within your experiment, right? You can't just say, oh, I'm gonna experiment doing this and then try it for this much. Try for a little bit more, right? Try as much to see if you're really happy doing it, and that's actually what's gonna help you figure out what you're truly happy at doing. So never ever underestimate your time, because that's one of the biggest advantages you guys have, especially if you're young. Never take that under consideration, because it's something that you should always value as much as possible. And one of the last things I have to say is, never actually call a day of productivity a day of productivity if you guys just spent 11 hours, just looking at a screen and calling it work, because that's just a waste of time. That's just a waste of life. Just saying that, oh, okay, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna just open my computer, and then I'm gonna just stare into the screen and type at least like 2 paragraphs, and then just zone off and just do it for 11 hours and say, oh, okay, I just did 11 hours of work, or I'm feeling good right now. Like, no, you didn't do anything. Like, you legit just stood there and looked into the screen and typed something, and your mind was somewhere else because I don't know what, but you're not really committed. And that's something that kills a lot of enthusiasm and efforts and a lot of entrepreneurs' dreams, and it just shatters the reality right there. The lack of commitment that many people are not willing to actually put in the work and be successful. Because I'm going to be honest with you, being a successful entrepreneur, or not even entrepreneur, being a successful anybody, doesn't just happen by 2 weeks or 3 months or a year. It takes so much time getting to the point where they're successful, rather than just saying, oh, I'm going to put in 11 hours tonight or today, and tomorrow I'm going to break, and tomorrow, the day after, I'm going to break, and then the next day I'll put in 5. It's laga. Like, it's not going to happen like that. I'm here to tell you, because once again, this world is so obsessed with sugarcoating and fake news. And if you don't want to take it from me, you can go and search up Gary Vee or Ty Lopez or anybody in those realms. Tony Robbins even. You guys should look up to Tony Robbins so much. He is a motivator. He changed so many lives. 150 million, I think. You guys should look into those type of people who will give you so much beneficial advice and information that will truly serve a beneficial purpose to you in the future. Not just take it from somebody who says and talks about it, right? And obviously that's kind of me right now, but I am kind of doing my business right now. I have an e-commerce business. I have my own social media marketing agency. I am a youth mentor. I do help out people a lot. I have these abilities right now. I mean, I taught myself all these things with social media marketing, because a lot of people just think social media marketing is promoting a product and calling it a day. But there's so many components and variables that come into actually being successful at marketing. And I'm still not at that peak yet. I'm obviously not, because it takes years to actually master that craft. And I will eventually accomplish that task, but it's because of my commitment and the motivation or enthusiasm that I have to actually become a better me, right? Because my ideal situation would be, or not situation, my ideal achievement would be having a nice car, money in my pocket, and having the ability to travel with me, my friends, and my family, right? Making sure that I can support any of my closest friends whenever they need it in financial situations, right? I feel good helping out people, right? And that's what I want for myself. Now, a lot of people need to focus on what their goals are. Is for you, maybe watching it, maybe it could be achieving a financial state. But is that really going to make you happy? Is owning a Lamborghini going to make you happy? Like, really think about it. Like really think about it. Is owning an orange Lamborghini going to make you happy? Really think about that. Driving it, right? But then it becomes a repetition. Driving it the same night and the same road. No, everybody sees it once in a while. But then you can become addicted to saying, oh, I need to have the next car so people can admire how great I am. Why do you care so much about others' opinions? Right? Like, focus on yourself. Obviously, it's cool to flex, right? Everybody needs to flex at one point, but don't make that your life's mission to impress others, and you only cherish or value their opinions rather than worrying about yourself and your self-improvements, because that's a terrible way to live. You can't live your life worrying about what others think of you. You can't. You know, I already told myself that. You can't just be worried about what this guy said about you or your name, or like, nobody cares. Like, sorry that light went out if you guys can't see me, but nobody really cares about your situations. And obviously, once again, I'm here to tell you that I'm going to tell you reality, right? Nobody really cares about your situation. The market certainly won't care about your situation, whatever financial situation you're in or personal. They just care what you have to offer and what benefit it gives to them, right? Basically, I just want to finish this video off just saying, you know, this is your life, guys, and obviously I'm not the one to tell you how to live it, but I'm just here to tell you, I'm giving you some advice or guidance that never value anybody's opinion over yours, and always make sure that you're focusing more on self-improvements rather than worrying about and valuing others' opinions that are completely irrelevant. I hope you guys took something away from this video, and if you did, let me know so I can make another continuation off it, or if you guys want to know more, I will be uploading a video talking about e-commerce and dropshipping and my methods and how I kind of do it. I mean, I get a couple sales once in a while, and you know, I'm pretty good at that. I'm reaching out to influencers right now to actually help promote some of the products I'm selling. I will help you guys with setting up a whole e-commerce store on Shopify and some of the dropshipping components that comes within the videos to plug in, some apps that I could recommend you guys. And if you guys want to know more, please leave some recommendations of what you guys want to hear in the next video. I'm barely starting off, so I could use a lot of help right now with content strategies or content creations. I'd really appreciate that. And if you guys could just comment, like, subscribe, and share this video to anybody you think would serve a good beneficial could benefit anybody you think this video, please share this video. I would appreciate it so much. And yeah, just hope you learned something. Remember, guys, it's your life. Take control of it. Thanks so much.